Well, let's start with the top story of the day. NDTV now has footage of the moments before the killing of journalist J Dey, which shows just how closely the killers had been tracking him. You can see that motorcycle, which is the killers, whom we now know belonged to the Chhota Rajan gang, as they trail the journalist. This is just minutes before they actually killed him. And then you can see people here turning around their heads as the gunshots actually were fired. Priyanka Kakodkar now joins us with a lot more on this. Priyanka, this CCTV footage, spine-chilling, of course. What is the sort of a story that this is showing us?
Well, it shows you exactly what happened the moments before J Dey's killing. Now you can see J Dey's bike, which is crossing the DMart junction in Powai, and shortly after that, just 30 seconds after that, you're seeing two motorcycles with the shooters. And a few seconds after that, you can see there have been gunshots. The crowd is reacting to gunshots, and a Qualis is driving away. Qualis is one of the vehicles that was accompanying the shooters. So as you can see, this is one of the closest images that you have, which show how well and meticulously this operation was planned. Within 30 seconds of J Dey's motorbike passing by, the two shooters are following after him. If you look at the timing again, when the shooting actually takes place, that's just a few seconds after these shooters have actually crossed J Dey. So you can see how meticulously this entire operation was planned. Unfortunately for the police, what they couldn't really have from this footage is some images of the shooters, because this was taken from a distance, and the shooters their faces cannot be seen here. So that was a bit of a disadvantage for the police. But as far as the sequence of events is concerned, it's very clearly laid out. J Dey passing by, very shortly after that, the shooters passing by, the gunshots outside Spectra building, where he was finally gunned down at Powai, and finally the getaway car, including the Qualis, which is accompanying three motorcycles with the shooters riding on them. This Qualis, we've been told, was provided because in case they slipped as you can see, it's raining. In case the motorcyclist slipped and fell in the middle of all that rain, they could get away in that Qualis. So that's the level of planning that this operation really saw. Vikram.
Priyanka, of course, now the police says they've cracked the case from the point of view of who the killers were. They were members of the Chhota Rajan gang. Did this footage in any way help the police in figuring out who the killers were? Although we have heard a full detail as to how they were able to nab the killers. Was this footage helpful in any way?
Well, unfortunately not, Vikram, because here, as you can see, you can't really see the faces of the killers. You can see them only from a distance, and you can see that they're following very closely behind J Dey. But as far as the police are concerned, from the beginning, what they were saying is that the CCTV footage didn't help them at all in actually establishing the killers. What they really did manage to do was identify which key shooters were missing from Mumbai. They finally realized that it was Chhota Rajan's key shooters who were missing from Mumbai, and that's really the link that they took in trying to find where these shooters were. The main shooter, as we know, Satish Kala, was finally picked up from Rameshwaram. So they had all left Mumbai and gone for a series of visits to these temple towns immediately after the shooting. And it's through that the police were actually able to establish who they were. The CCTV footage, while it's chilling, while it shows how meticulously this was planned, while it shows the quick succession in which they carried out the operation, that they didn't really lead to very many leads on the killers themselves.
Okay. Very briefly, Priyanka, yesterday Himanshu Roy was speaking to us. He said they don't want to say anything on the motives, the suspicion that maybe gang rivalry was behind all of this. They don't want to confirm that just yet. Have you heard anything from the police, or is it still all off the record and not very clear until that questioning is really concluded?
Well, on record, the police are still sticking to that line that the motive is unclear. But off the record, again, the rival gang theory is making the rounds. J Dey was known to be extremely close to the Chhota Rajan gang. So why did Chhota Rajan order his killing? So the two theories that have been making the rounds is that he was perhaps growing close to the rival Dawood Ibrahim gang, or to a splinter faction of the Chhota Rajan gang, that's a gangster called Santosh Shetty. And Chhota Rajan may have been worried that J Dey could reveal his whereabouts. So that, seems to be a motive that's developing. Officially, the police are saying nothing at all. So what they are examining is what happened during a trip he took to London from April 27th to May 5th, because it was apparently after that trip that Chhota Rajan made his first calls on the J Dey killing. So the police are really trying to examine what happened during that trip, who did he meet, who did he call, and they're hoping for some leads really through that. Vikram.
Okay, Priyanka, thanks a lot for joining us with that update. So that was the footage which was just at the time of the killing of J Dey.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.